This video and about this campaign is that the reason people wanted to help me and the reason people wanted to work with me and work on this project is because we all, in our DNA, we have this idea that we matter. And it goes back to, our likes define us, and our dreams and what makes us feel alive. This is what defines who we are. That's why children, when they meet each other, they're like, what do you like? Oh, I like this. What do you like? I like this. So this is what defines us. And people want to believe that they matter. And this all goes back to God. Like, if your dreams matter, it's got to work out if you matter, if that makes sense. Hi guys, my name is Derek. Here's a long version of the video. And this is going to be very freestyle. It's going to be long, but it's really, really crazy. And it's really important to me. And it's something that I reflected back on, and I'm like, this is so crazy how it all worked. It worked in a way that is just amazing. And I think that you'll see God in this. I think that you'll see God working and using evil for good and using confusion for good. And I believe this campaign is going to be successful. And I'll tell you why. And it's all about love, and it's all about showing people that they matter, showing people that dreams matter. I need to repay these people who helped me and put their heart into my film. And I'll tell you why it's so important. I'll tell you why I need to show the people who helped me on the film, the friends and family, the people in Japan, that not only can you get back money to that you're not going to be at a loss when you do something for your dream, but you can benefit, you can profit from it, and that's okay. So again, it's going to be a long video, but I'm going to try to do it the best I can. I just got to be real with it. I thought about how to organize it, but I can't. I can just speak from the heart. I wanted to make a film, and there was a part of me that I was a Christian, right? And I was a believer until COVID hit. I became reborn, born again. Who knows what that means, but I'll tell you my story, maybe it'll make sense. And the film was inspired by something that happened to me when I was 13. I had an encounter with a ghost. I was sleeping, and there was this voice that spoke to my heart, and it said, there's a monster in your room, and it was this kind of a scary thing. And I woke up, and I looked at my clock, and it said 3:03. And I looked, and there was this thing with a white sheet over it in my room. And it was weird. It was like this. It's almost like a box. My first thought was, did my father come and set up boxes to scare me? And I'm like, the second thought was like, okay, my door's locked. He doesn't do that. This is a ghost. My third thought was, wow, this looks very cliche. And then I was like, wait, I'm really scared. And then I covered myself with my sheets, and I waited for an hour, and I looked, and it was gone. And then a year later, I woke up. My clock was there at the time. I looked, it said 3:03, and I looked, and I saw the same thing walking in my room. Now, there are things that happened when I was young. We called ourselves Christian. We said we go to church almost every Sunday. We're like, we're Christian, we're saved. Why was I having evil encounters? And I had an encounter with a demon too. Like, I heard a voice, like literally a voice that startled me when I was 16, 17. And I would say if we're close to God, we would not be having these encounters. I went through this time where I was like, I want to be a filmmaker. I believe that I can do it, and I believe in my stories. I was like, I want to make a story. I want to be good at making films. I want to be in Hollywood. I want to be, and it was almost for the wrong reason, because I thought I wanted to be known for my genius or something. It was an ego thing. I wrote this screenplay, and I sent it to, I had written several other screenplays. It's not like a one-hit thing, but I wrote the screenplay. I got an award for it, and I'm like, I want to make this. And I went to Japan. I was in Japan for a while, and I finished the screenplay, and I started to gather people, talk to people. And the thing is the main thing about this video and about this campaign is that the reason people wanted to help me and the reason people wanted to work with me and work on this project is because we all, in our DNA, we have this idea that we matter. And it goes back to our likes define us, and our dreams and what makes us feel alive. This is what defines who we are. That's why children, when they meet each other, they're like, what do you like? Oh, I like this. What do you like? I like this. So this is what defines us. And people want to believe that they matter. And this all goes back to God. Like, if your dreams matter, it's got to work out if you matter, if that makes sense. And this is what I believe, that God's love is so deep that he'll help us. He saw his son. He's the father, I'm the son. His son wants to make a horror film. And his son loves him, so his son's not going to put a bunch of stuff like bad language and like blood and all this stuff. He's not going to do any of that. But he wants to say a point, which is what is in the film, is about, I'll get to that, but it's about not seeking out other things in your life other than just being happy in yourself through God, because having God as your happiness solves all these problems. So we'll get to that later. Anyway, I had the film. I wanted to make it. There were people that were just brought into my life. In Japan, the acting industry is such that it's just about a bunch of models. Like, there's not a lot of foreign actors there. And if you would ask somebody, like, can you find good foreign actors? It's like, it's really hard. There's not that many, right? But I was helping out this friend named Sam, who was also pursuing his dream. In doing so, I met Hagen, who was also helping out Sam. There's something about people who are going after their dream that attracts other people who are going after their dream. And we're all believing that dreams and that we matter and that life matters and all this stuff about God. It's like, it's not that so much that they believe in God, but they have this faith in something that they want to believe. And anyway, I met him, and I had been doing casting, and I was finding people for different roles, but the main roles I was concerned about. And then I auditioned Hagen. He was amazing, perfect. And then I asked him, like, do you know any other actors? And he told me about 3 people that he knew. One person was AJ. AJ played Jared, and he did the audition perfectly. Then there's another person, Evan, who played Devin. He did the audition perfectly. And then there's another actress, the main character. Her name is Pearl. The actress name is Shoko. And she was half American, half Japanese, which is great. This is pretty rare. And the movie is a mix of Asian culture and Western culture together. So it's like Asian horror, Western horror together. So that was perfect. I didn't expect that. I didn't like really hope for that. I mean, I wanted that, but I didn't really expect it, but it happened. It was great, and she's a great actress. And like, we had all this together, and then I think it was she introduced Brian, who's a production manager. You need somebody to take care of all this stuff. And Flavio introduced Mariana. All these people introduced these people to me, again, because they saw something in my script, something in me that was a belief. It was faith. Anyway, they all were like, yeah, we came together, and I'm like, I can't pay you much, just like minimum wage. And I have this investor. I had an investor also in Japan. And it's a long story, but we tried to make it work with the investor, and it was just dragging out. But in the end, because of COVID, like when he was supposed to invest, he pulled out. So it was all me, and then my mother helped me. And like, anyway, back to the story. Back to the story. So I found the actors. I was asking around. We found this place that we could use, and it was really stressful because we had everything, almost everything in place to start shooting, and then 3 days before the shoot, we lost that place. We can't shoot there anymore. And Brian's friend, I can't remember his name, but he helped me introduce a church, and he's like, maybe this church can help you. And it was at that moment when we lost this place, because a lot of actors were like, I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know if we can do it. I don't know if he's going to pull it off. Some of them were believing in me. Some of them were thinking that I'm just naive for thinking that I can pull it off. That's the thing about faith, is like, people call it naivety. But we've got to prove to the world that it's not naivety. It's true. It's belief is power and faith and everything. At that time, when they told me you can't film at the house, a lot of the actors were like, we're not sure if we want to do it now, especially one of the main actors. And I was like, oh man, I can't do it. But Mariana was with me at that time, and because she had believed in me, it was like her love helped to encourage me and say, let's just she was really calm. She's like, let's just check out this church. And I'm like, how could it? Okay, first of all, why would it work? How would I use a church to make a horror film? It's supposed to be a house. But I went in and I'm like, I'm skeptical, right? And then I looked, and there was all these like weird back rooms and stuff that could be made to look like a house, and all these little rooms that could be made to look like places in the movie with effort. But we needed a main room that we can shoot, right? This is actually better than the house that we had before, because if we move the pews, I talked to Flavio, the cinematographer. He told me we just make flats. So we just made these walls, and we made these walls fake to make like a fake room. So like if you imagine a room like this, and it's a huge room, you can take out these walls and you can put your camera crew here. You have a lot of space, and you can shoot the actors here, so you have all this space. But if it's like a small, like the house I was going to be in, everything's going to be tight, and you're going to be like stepping over each other, and it's not a good time, and all the shots are going to be like really close, and it's going to look cheap. When I found that church, I was like, how am I going to convince a church that I'm going to make a horror film in there? But I just believed it, like, hey, God loves me. It was all, it's like, the thing is, it's all here. It's all one person. I'm not taking credit for it, but it was God. It was like all here, this faith in God loving me. I refuse to believe that God puts something like a fire in us, that there's this fire that we're built with, that we have in our hearts, and then we're not supposed to let it out. We're not supposed to pursue it. I refuse to believe that, and I met too many people that are not doing, that are believing that they're supposed to do ABC, and they're not allowed to pursue what they really want. And I want to show the world that you can. So anyway, I went to the church, and I was like talking to them. I'm like, this is going to be a film that's, and I was trying to like hide the fact that it was a horror film. I'm like, it's a spiritual, there's a spirit, a negative spirit. And my friend Michiko was like, it's a Miko. We turned it into a Miko, which is a shaman who died, who became a spirit. It's a ghost, but you know, because so many negative connotations, this is because of what Hollywood has done to the horror genre. They've turned it into this evil thing, which we can explore, and we can look at evil and we can learn from it. But when we turn it into something gratuitous, that's when it becomes negative, I believe. That's when it becomes something that me and other Christians don't want anything to do with. We met the church, and I talked to them, and I was telling them I'm a Christian. I was telling them I'm doing this movie. I believe I can do it and all this stuff. And then they had a meeting, and it was just, I went into this room with these people, but deep down I believed it's going to work out. They're going to say yes. And I sat with them, and they were like talking together, and they were like, okay, you can do it. Sign this contract. This is the amount that you should pay for like things, you know, electricity and all that. And so I did it. I signed that. I had the location. We started designing everything quickly. Brian's friend, I can't remember his name, he came, he was helping me. He called without me even in doing it, because I was worried about money and budget and stuff, but he called this woman who came and just started painting the flats. I didn't even ask her to, because I probably would have told her, I'll do it myself, which I don't know how to do, but I'm like, I'll do it myself to save money. But she just did it, and she made it look amazing, and I'm like, wow, that really works. After about a day or maybe 2 days of doing this, me, Tetsuro, Brian, we were all working together really hard. And we make this awesome set with Michiko as well. The thing is, in the church, like these things happen where I'm like, we need to set up this glass wall. I have no idea how to make it, all this stuff. And the man working there, he just came and I forgot his name, Ichiko or some Ichuko. He just like, okay, we needed to set it up so it's stable. And he just came and he just drilled holes in the wall. We're like, okay, if that's okay, go ahead and drill holes in the wall. So it's a little bit confusing. And anyway, so we got it all set up. We got the set, and we started making the film, and we dressed hallways and all this stuff. And we were making the film. All this stuff that happened in the film, there was all these coincidences. I'll tell you, it's not a coincidence. It has to happen through faith. So I didn't have a location for the party scene, the banquet hall. when I was talking to Brian about it, he was like, "How are you going to get this? Like, we got to shoot this tomorrow or the next day, 2 days actually." And I was so busy, but I didn't even think. I'm like, "Well, we'll figure it out." And then it'll happen, right? And then Flavio, the cameraman, I think it was like he had a flat tire or he got pulled over by the police or something, can't remember. And Brian had to go out and meet him because he didn't have transportation. So we went out to this bus stop and he was looking around, and man, he believes in me, and he just like he was looking for what I was looking for. And he found this place. So in Japan, there's these funeral companies that are very helpful and friendly to the community. And they had this big party, like banquet hall. And like, if you ask, like, how could you secure this when you don't have money? How would you secure a big, like high class scene that you would want to secure? Because I wanted to have a party with like rich people that rich people go, right? And you just can't without the power of love, the power of faith. So he went in and he just talked to them really friendly, and he was like, "Can we make a film here?" And they were like, "Okay, for free, sure." So we went there, we dressed it up, and then the next day we went there, we filmed banquet scene. And I had no time to direct that because we were on a tight schedule. And yet the actors, because they all knew the story and it was all because they believed in it, they knew exactly what to do. And the cinematographer and his friend, they know exactly what to do too, and they just filmed it. And they just did it. We did it like a few takes. We did the whole scene. And it worked out really well. And I was surprised, like, maybe I'm not needed that much. That's one example. The other example, okay, like we needed this silicone hand that my makeup artist didn't have time to finish. And he came and he's like, "But I needed the hand to be exactly like my actress's hand." Because here I am like, "It has to be perfect." And I'm like, "Can you make it?" He's like, "No, I don't have time, but I have this old hand that I made like 2 years ago." And he brought it, and then like my actress was looking at it, and she's like, "How did you make my hand?" And we're like, "What?" And they're like, she's showing her hand looks exactly like this silicone hand. And she was like, "Did you, like, how did you?" And he's just, "I don't know, it just worked out somehow. It was the same hand." Because I wanted to have the the hand, like rubber like hand being broken and stuff. Yeah, bad stuff. Pre born again Derek, okay? But listen, so a lot of other stuff that happened, I'm trying to remember, but like people just kept saying, "You're so lucky," or "Why does everything work out for you?" And the ironic thing is that I could have done this whole thing just in a relaxed and happy state and not worried at all, while the world around me is worried. But I could have done the whole thing that way because, for example, when I was trying to get that location, I was so stressed about it and I was trying. I believe God doesn't want us in that state. He doesn't want us in that state of like, He wants us, because He loves us, He wants us in this state of relaxation. But again, this is before I was born again. I didn't understand that quite, what it means to be born again. I didn't understand God's love to the degree that it is. Before this time, I had been sick for 10 years. There was this thing where, like, after I woke up from sleep, because sleep is the time when your body is just not thinking like as your normal pattern would be, and you're just relaxing and you're healing. And I would wake up and I'm fine, and then after like a while, I would get tired, and I would get, especially when I'm talking, I would get like this inflammation in my eyes, my throat, my nose. And I searched for 10 years, why am I getting this? And it was really painful. I couldn't enjoy my life. I couldn't talk to people without feeling pain. And I saw 15 doctors in different countries, and nobody could give me an answer. And I was given medication. I was given proposals for surgery, even though they didn't know what it was. They were telling me I had rhinitis, I had allergies, all this stuff. So when COVID came around, I had this experience on this mountain where I heard God tell me that I was loved and that I was enough. And I understood more about unconditional love. Basically, our minds are the things that cause us sickness, and our minds and our hearts. And our body is like a tree. It's like us. It's like mind, body, and spirit is like a tree, and when there's something wrong with mind or body or spirit, it comes out in our branches and our fruit. And I was not bearing fruit in many areas of my life. For example, this film, this is what I'm getting to right now. I was doing this at the expense of a lot of people. Like, sure, they believed in it, and I was able to pay them minimum wage, and but they deserve so much more. Like, they put their money, they put their sweat, they put their their time and their heart into my film. And it's not that they loved me so much. I mean, I'm sure they loved me, but it's not that they believed that I'm a genius. It's not about that. They believed that I could do it because I believe that I could do it, because I have faith in God, because I have faith that God cares about me. And the thing is that I was believing that, but God showed me that it's more than that. It's about, like life is about people. I believe if I tried to do this film again, I would have done it with so much more love. And now I want to show all the people who helped me, the people who believed in what I believed in. And it's like the world, they're crying out for this meaning. They're crying out to believe in something great. And the gospel is no less than great. The gospel of God dying for you is his ultimate act of I love you. That is Jesus' ultimate act of I love you, which the Western churches have turned into like, I died because I was fed up with your sin and it had to be done. No, I died because I love you. This is agape love. If he loves me that much, he sees the burning fire within me to do something that I want to do. And okay, I made a horror film, and we know what horror connotates because of Hollywood, but I just want to tell you, I'm petting a cat right now. I just want to show the people that helped me in this film that we can do things that we want to do, and we can be successful financially, and it's okay. We don't have to consider dreams as something that like just is for fun and is going to put you in poverty. I believe we're going to show them through this, because when I was born again, I found that all the stuff that I was believing was real and true. And I trusted in God that he's going to make it up for everybody that helped me. And I need to pay back my mother, and I'm going to. I borrowed a lot of money from her, and I believe that this is going to work because I need to pay her back, and I want to pay back the people so much more than what I gave them. And there are people, for example, Brian, he was a production manager, and he worked so hard, like staying up late, like at night, and his heart was literally hurting. Like he had to see the doctor before because he had problems with his heart, but he was putting his heart into this movie. And like, I still have not paid him what he deserves. I want to prove to them, yes, you were right for believing that dreams matter and going after what you go after, what you want to go after matters. And I guess what I'm saying is, before I was reborn, it was like deep down that belief was there. But when I was reborn, it's like, wow, it's actually really true. And the love is that deep, that when you do things that you want to do, you don't want to be stressed about it. You just want to let it go. And this is the way I've seen the pattern in my life, is like, when you do something, you want to do something, you want something to happen, the more you stress about it, the more you obsess about it, that's not where God wants us to be. He wants us to accept his gift. Everybody wants love. We have the ultimate source of love already. So that means everything else is just number two. And so that means we don't need to obsess over it. And so operating from that is the healthiest point of living. And that is where I was healed from my sickness. It's like, I felt that I was ashamed to be happy because I thought I had to work for it. I don't know if it was religion. I think it was a little bit of a generational pattern. There was Mormonism in my family roots and stuff. And there was this idea of having to earn love. or having to earn the excuse to be happy. And I learned that I didn't need to do that. And I learned that we are meant to enjoy this gift called life. And in our act of doing so, we are testifying that we are already we already have God as our number one. We accepted the gift. We have our full of love, and He is with us when we do things because we're His children. We're all family. And that is what is attractive to people. That is why people were drawn to my project, and that is why I believe that this campaign is going to raise money to show the world, to show these people that there is a God that loves you. What I didn't realize when I was writing the film is that Pearl, she's a lot like me. She was pursuing something. She was pursuing happiness in men. She was pursuing happiness in searching out this thing with the adventure with the other guy and all this stuff. And in the end, she learns a valuable lesson. She has a near-death experience and stuff. And I can't spoil it for you, but I can just say that her transformation in the film, it is subconsciously, I wrote it, and it ended up representing my transition from being someone who is seeking something, but is doing so at the expense of others and at the expense of my own health, into someone who is, you'd say, born again. I've seen the light, I've seen the truth, and the truth has set me free to where I don't live at the expense of people. And after I was finished with the film, I kind of gave up on making money from it because they say the film, like these days, it's hard to distribute. And you send films to the distributors because they take the film and they do something with a contract, and like it's very secretive, and there's so many people who are artists and are creators, and they're believing the same dream as I do, and they're so discouraged because it's like whatever you do, you're going to get scammed and you're going to be whatever. I'm not saying that I was scammed, but the movie was not making money, and I'm like thinking like, I wanna, there's a reason why I have this desire to pay these people back, and there's a few people who I have not been able to pay back completely. And I think that's driving me to not give up, because if it's just for me, I don't think I'd be making this video. Like, it is love that I'm making this video, that I wanna have the money, and I wanna go to Japan, and I wanna see the people who helped me make this movie. And I want to film it, and I want to say, hey man, you believed in me because you believe that you matter. And I believed that I could do this because I believe that I matter, because I believe that God loves me. And I believed that it would work. And it worked. Look at how God's people believe as well. And they paid to see the movie that we made. And here's money for you. Like, here's a reward for believing. That is what is the message, about we matter, our dreams matter, our likes matter. Okay, I could go on about that. So the story is surprisingly, and it took me a while to figure this out, it's a parallel to my own life. And it's not a big Hollywood movie, but we did really well for the budget. So it's a really cool movie. I believe in the story. I believe that if you look past the standards that Hollywood has made and just try to see the heart in it, and maybe watch the movie from, after watching this video, watch the movie from that perspective, and try to just see the good points in it. And I believe you'll enjoy it. And I believe you'll pick up on the lesson in the movie. And I hope you'll help me to clean up my mess, because I did make this movie out of faith, but I made it from an unborn again perspective. And I changed so much from understanding God's love that I made this YouTube channel called God Feels Good. And it's only got 80 something subscribers, and I made like 80 videos. But it's because I really believe that God feels good and wants us to feel good. And when we pray for something, faith is letting go. Letting go feels good. When you have something you want and you just believe it and you're not even thinking about it anymore. It's like when you order something from the restaurant, you put in the order and it's ordered, it's done. You're not going to be worried, is it ordered? Is it coming? This feels great to live this way because it's a testimony about where our hearts are and what is number one in our life. So guys, I really want to show these people, to show the Japanese people as well about God, and God's love is shown through us. And I'm not asking for an offering. I'm just telling you I got a cool movie with a cool story, with a cool even cooler story behind it if you hear the video. And it's really reflecting on my life. It's reflecting of people believing in a dream of their own value and of dreams meaning something, and we all put it together in love. And it's ironic, and it's funny. It's funny that it happened. It's funny that it was made. From now on, I've been making faith-based films. I'm in Thailand, and I'm making one faith-based film right now. It's just a short film. I also have a Thai channel and a Thai TikTok. I wrote a book about my experiences and about my transformation and how I went from the old me to the new me. The old me, which was not feeling fulfilled and seeking something from God, and how destructive that was even to my own health, to the new me that just accepts his gift and enjoys being loved by him, and through that it administers to other people that this is freedom. So I wrote this book, and I'm trying to get it translated into Thai too. I'm just saying, like, this is stuff that I plan to do with the money from this campaign. Pay back the people, show them that they matter. Show them that they can pursue their dream too. If I have extra money, pay back the people, get my book translated into Thai, and work on some faith-based films here in Thailand. All right, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you. It's very long. I also have a director's commentary as far as rewards. That'll explain a lot more too. All right, love you guys, and God bless. Bye.